to the appointed time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So let's start with why it is even important to talk about sleep. Why is sleep such an issue? You know, sleep is as necessary as food and water. There was a time when I felt like sleep was this luxury, that we were, the more we went on full speed, the more we got accomplished. That was kind of the gold. And it was almost seen as this badge of honor to be able to keep going with very little sleep. And, as I look back now, I realize how foolish that was. Um, Sleep is such a necessity for our bodies and our minds to function well. And so recognizing that is the first step in being able to create an environment and prioritize your sleep for your health. You know, not only is it just a necessity for us to function well, but we are at a higher risk for all sorts of diseases and issues when we don't get enough sleep. So things like diabetes, stroke, dementia, obesity, all of these things we're at higher risk of when we're not getting sufficient sleep. So that kind of brings up that next point, sufficient sleep. What is sufficient sleep? There are people who say, oh, I function just fine on 5 hours of sleep. Maybe that's the case, but if it is, you are a rare exception because people generally need at least 7 hours of sleep to function well, for their bodies to function like they're supposed to be. So while you may think you are functioning well on 5 hours of sleep, it's very possible that you're not functioning really at your optimum level, and that if you would be getting more sleep, your functioning would be even higher. So I encourage you, if you're not getting a full 7 hours of sleep, I encourage you to think through that again and try and aim for just increasing a little bit at a time until you can get to that 7 hours of sleep or more, and see if you really don't find that you're functioning better. Because like I said, most people need at least 7 hours of sleep. If you're not, though, you are among the many who are struggling to get that level of sleep at night. So about a third of all people say that they are getting less than 7 hours of sleep. And then there's a whole group that says they might be getting 7 hours of sleep, or they're in bed for 7 hours, but they're tossing and turning and not really getting good sleep during those 7 hours. So the goal is to get at least 7 hours of solid, deep, restorative sleep. So what does that do for us? Well, there are a couple things that happen when we're sleeping that don't happen any other time. This is when these things take place, right? So, you know, things that happen in our body and in our brain. So let's talk about in our bodies, physically what happens there. So it is the time of when our tissues are repairing, when our muscles are repairing. Um, it is when we are just, all of our synapses and the signals that go throughout our body are getting repaired and recharged. So you may think of sleep as this dormant kind of state, but it's anything but that. It really is a state where we are, a lot is happening. And so tissue and muscle repair is one of the big things that happens while we're sleeping. The other thing is brain maintenance. So things like consolidating our memories. So all the things that happen during the day, when we go to sleep at night, that is when memory consolidation happens. And so it is how our memories are formed, is when we are sleeping. The other important thing that happens is during the sleep time is when toxins are washed from our brains. So toxins that build up throughout the day are washed away during this sleep time. And so those are critical functions that happen while we're in deep sleep that help us to function at our best. So let's talk about some of the tips now that we covered this month. So I wanted to bring you different tips all throughout the month just to continue to reiterate the importance of getting good solid sleep and that it's so multifaceted, right? It's not just one thing that helps us to get good sleep, but it's really a plethora of things. So I've broken it down into three big categories. The first is recognizing that it all starts well before bedtime, right? So you can't just jump into bed and think that you're going to get a good night's sleep. It really takes some thought throughout the day and planning throughout the day. So the first thing to remember is getting up and going to bed at the same time every day really does make a difference. So that is one of the keys. Your body gets in this circadian rhythm, right? It's this 24-hour cycle that our bodies go through. And your circadian rhythm is jump started when you get up, and then you build up throughout the day this need for more sleep. And then once you sleep, it releases that need. And so getting up and going to bed at the same time every day helps set your circadian rhythm and put you in a pattern for good sleep. The other important thing when you wake up in the morning is to get bright sunlight. So, it's tempting maybe to stay in bed, scroll social media, look at, other things on your phone, check your mail, email. But getting up and getting some bright sunlight is what really jumpstart that rhythm and let your brain know, hey, it's time to get up. It's morning. It's time to get going. And so it gives all those signals to yourself to say, let's get going. Morning has started. So getting up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, even on weekends, to the greatest extent possible. Of course, there are circumstances when that's not going to happen, but to the greatest extent possible, you want to try to wake up, go to bed, same time every day. Get that sunlight first thing in the morning. And then thinking about during the day things that help contribute to getting a good night's sleep. So, one of them, of course, is exercise. So, whether it is, actually going to some sort of exercise class or just, walking, making sure that you're doing, 30 minutes or so of walking a day, getting those steps in, throughout the day, even if it's not in one concentrated time frame. But being active, moving, exercising so your body is physically tired by the end of the day. Not just mentally tired, but physically tired too. So exercising really helps to get your body ready for good sleep. It also is important to think about during the day limiting caffeine, right? Limiting caffeine, limiting alcohol. And I sometimes feel like the bearer of bad news there, but it's true. Alcohol may help you to relax and chill out and initially fall asleep, but your sleep is not going to be that same level of quality. It's not going to be that deep restorative sleep that lasts throughout the night. And so, as alcohol is being processed in your body, it's interfering with the brain waves that allow you to get deep restorative sleep. And so, while you may fall asleep easier, the chance of you staying asleep and getting deep restorative sleep throughout the night is not nearly as good as if you don't drink alcohol close to bedtime. So if you're going to have a glass of wine, do it as earlier in the evening. And that goes for eating as well. You should have at least 3 hours before you go to bed after you've eaten. And so if you're going to have a glass of wine with dinner, make sure you do it early and have that time for your body to process it so it doesn't interfere with your sleep. So that's the first section, is around, recognizing that it all starts before bedtime. The second category, if you will, is around routines. So making sure that we have a good sleep routine. So what does that look like? Well, things like turning off technology an hour or so before. Um, Again, we may think it's not interfering with our sleep, but behind the scenes, it really is. And so, that whether it's just the blue lights or the stimulation of your mind, it helps to turn off all tech at least an hour before sleep. That means TVs, computers, phones, iPads, all of it. Turn it off. Um, Read, use that time to just unwind, but get into a routine that helps you to relax an hour or so before your designated bedtime. So it may look something like, turning off the tech, turning off televisions, go and take a hot bath, um, using some sort of bath products that really helps you to relax. The scent maybe is what it is. This is one of my absolute favorites here. It is Bath and Body Works, and it's the eucalyptus and spearmint Luxe Bath Gel. So it's really a cream, and your water feels just heavenly with this stuff. It is creamy and smooth, and the scent is just fabulous. It also used to come in one that was like a lavender vanilla. Hadn't been able to find that lately, but this one really feels great. So use it a lot, as you can see. It might also be, um, getting a cup of hot tea. Here's one of the teas that I really like. Um, it's from Sogo Tea Company, and it's called Chill Tea. So it's a combination of lemongrass, pineapple, hibiscus, and relaxing kava blended into beautiful tea, perfect for when you feel the need to chill. And so this is a great little recipe of tea, different teas that really helps you to just feel calm and rested and relaxed, chilled out and ready for bed. Those are two of my favorite products. And so getting that routine in place, whether it is taking a bath and then getting a cup of hot tea, journaling maybe, because thinking about things that bring you gratitude, thankfulness, peace, that sets the mood for a good night's sleep instead of going to bed with worry and anxiety. And if that is a problem for you, you might want to check out one of my specific videos that is about worry and how to deal with worry and anxiety, if that's what's keeping you up at night. I actually did a post about it in my weekly um, emails that I send out to my subscribers. So if you're not one of my subscribers, I encourage you to go to my website. It's embracingwellnessnow.com. Scroll down to where you can subscribe, and you'll get an email once a week that bring you tips on one of the 6 key areas that I focus on. So sleep being just one of them, but I also focus on purpose, knowing and living your purpose. I focus on issues around social connections and how critical that is, being able to nurture and develop those social connections, which is so important as we age, and can get harder, frankly, than when we were running around with young kids and had lots of networking there. Once we retire, sometimes those relationships um, change for sure, if not dissolve. And so it's living and knowing and living your purpose, social connections, growth mindset. So all things about growing and continuing to learn and um, continuing to develop as a person, challenging your mind, not staying stagnant, being able to stay relevant with the times. And then three of them are around physical issues. So it's nutrition, eating in a way that is centered on healing and fueling our bodies, movement, which is, no crazy P90X here, but just consistent movement throughout the day to keep us flexible, limber, strong. And then the final is sleep. And so those are the six areas I focus on. If you're not part of my um, subscriber list now, I encourage you to go over and join embracingwellnessnow.com, scroll to the bottom, join here, and you'll get my weekly email update. I also have a private Facebook group, same name, Embracing Wellness Now, and I'd love for you to join us there too, where we talk about all things aging well. So back to sleep topics. So the third and final area is around the environment. How do you create an environment that um, really sets the mood for sleep, right? So there are three main pieces to that. It's keeping it cool, keeping it quiet, and keeping it dark. So those are really, really key. Cool is actually, there's been studies that show 65 degrees. I know for some people that may be cold, but 65 degrees is the optimal for most people to get a good night's sleep. And people fall asleep at an average rate of about 6 minutes in 65-degree temperatures as opposed to 20 minutes in warmer temperatures. So if you want to doze off more quickly, lower that thermostat and see if 65 degrees doesn't help you to get to sleep quicker. And of course, it's about layering those blankets and sheets and, having a comfortable bed. But that temperature is really a critical piece of getting a good night's sleep. The second part there is dark. So keeping it dark, because even with your eyes closed, the lights in it could be just street lights coming in, landscape lights coming in. It could be the light on your fan, the light that goes off if you have a phone there that gets a message during the night. So any of those lights can really disturb your ability to get deep sleep and for you to stay in that deep sleep. So to the greatest extent possible, get it as dark as you can in that room. So cool, dark, and the third is quiet. So really trying to be mindful about how quiet your room is. Now, it almost sounds like an oxymoron that I'm going to say use a sound machine, right? But the humming of a consistent sound, like a sound machine, will help you to drown out any sudden noises. And so you're not startled by, the AC coming on or going off, or, some other noise that happens during the night that could startle you. So having that consistent sound in the background can really set the stage for you to get good sleep. I know when I get ready to go to bed, I turn on, it's a fan that has just a pretty loud humming to it. It just wipes out anything that's in the background and really kind of sets the tone to my brain that says, okay, this is it, time to go to sleep. And and that really helps me to sleep. So cool, dark, and quiet. And while we're on the topic of these noise machines or sound machines, there are lots of different types of them, right? So there's white noise and pink noise and brown noise. And so experiment a little bit, play around with it, and see what type of noise is most pleasing to you. They claim to do different things to impact you in different ways. Some are more for concentration and focus. Others are more for relaxation. And so play around with it a little bit and see which ones work best for you. So it's cool, dark, quiet. And then, of course, all the little luxuries, right? So making sure that your mattress is, um, still within its life, right? So they say about 7 to 10 years to replace a mattress. It should be, firm enough to really support you. If you're waking up with backache every morning, chances are you might need another mattress. So doing some research to see what is most comfortable for you. So mattress, pillows. I did a whole segment on pillows and trying to find that right pillow for you. There are lots of good reviews online about all sorts of different pillows, depending on what type of sleeper you are, right? Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, stomach sleeper. But getting a pillow that supports you is key. And then my just little luxury tip here is a pillowcase, one of those good silk pillowcases. I happen to love the ones from Blissey. They just are so smooth and cool. Um, it really helps prevent any kind of creasing on your face or, um, frizzing up of your hair while you're sleeping. So those Blissey pillowcases are great. I'm sure there are lots of other brands, but that's just one I'm familiar with that I really, really like. So you might try that. The other thing is, the right level of blankets. So one of the brands that is my absolute favorite is this one here. Now, I don't keep this on my bed, but I do have covers of this blankets from this brand. It's called Luxome, Luxome, and it is just a fabulous brand. This blanket is just such a good weight. Whether I'm really cold or just need a little kind of light blanket, somehow it seems to um, be exactly what I need here. Very comfortable, soft, breathable, and I just love the brand. They have sheets, blankets, lots of little luxuries there. And then the last part is around sheets. So really finding the type of sheets that is most comfortable for you. So the last ones that I bought, I did a lot of searching for sheets, and the last ones that I bought that I really, really liked, got off Amazon. They were not expensive at all. So no luxury here on sheets, but it was called Luxe Club, and they're not real thick sheets. They're thinner sheets, but they're smooth, silky, just really buttery soft, very cool to the touch. And so if you are one who likes a cooler sheets, this would be a good one for you to try. They wash really well, no wrinkles on them after. And so I've had them for a couple months now, and I'm very, very pleased with them. So you might check them out. And again, great price. I think, certainly worth trying. So those are the tips around environment. So I hope that you found these tips helpful. I hope that the month was filled with ideas for you to try, and that you end up really getting a path to good, solid, restorative sleep. And if you're struggling and you want to talk through your particular situation, your habits, your challenges, maybe you work shift work, maybe you have other issues that really cause you problems with creating the right environment for you to sleep, contact me. You can either do it through my website, embracingwellnessnow.com. My calendar's up there. You can always book an appointment. I have a slot for complimentary call to discuss issues and see how I might be able to help you. I also have a place there if you know that you want to work with me one-on-one in a coaching setup. Um, I have a place there that you can do that as well. You can book an appointment there. But I'd love to talk through with you the issues you're having and really help you to get in a good rhythm to get good solid sleep, because it is so critical for your health. So hope you got something out of this. Have a good day.